On the outskirts of the city lies one of Bristol's greatest homes for wildlife. Ashton Court. 850 acres of wild green space provides suitable habitat for the UK's native species, including its most majestic, the red deer. They live here all year round, congregating in herds that can reach hundreds of individuals. Life here is fairly simple. Being the UK's largest mammal means that most of their time is spent grazing. But as summer draws to a close and the autumn weather sets in, tensions begin to rise in the herd. Autumn is not just a time to prepare for the harsh winter ahead. It is a time to rut. Males must undergo scrutinous tests if they are to secure the rights to mate with the harem. This male is the eldest in the herd. His enormous size and considerable antlers have allowed him to keep his status within this harem. However, this intensive lifestyle is catching up to him. Yearly battles are tough, and they are beginning to take their toll. Luckily for him, strutting and roaring are usually enough to deter potential rivals. Young males would rather keep their heads down and focus on growing stronger and developing skills that are crucial if they are able to one day take the harem for their own. For a young male, risk of injury is just too great. One young male does not share this attitude. Having recently entered his prime, he decides to challenge the older male. It's winner takes all. Fighting can last for hours, as neither male can afford to back down. It's a war of attrition. With years of experience on his side, the older male strikes. Sensing he is outmatched, the challenger has no choice but to retreat. Exhausted yet victorious, the old male has maintained his status in the herd. The little energy he has left must be used wisely, and he wastes no time in rounding up females to mate. In the spring of next year, the dominant stag reaps his rewards and watches over his herd. The does will begin to give birth through the months of May and June. The pitter-patter of tiny hooves begins to fill the forests around them. He has ensured his legacy survives for at least another generation. But with the other males only getting stronger, it's just a matter of time before he is challenged again and his status in the herd is threatened. Over on the other side of Bristol, Eastville Park is a popular place for dog walkers, joggers, as well as general nature lovers. This area is also home to a vast array of bird species that cohabit in and around its quiet ponds and trees. The River Frome is a haven for both native and non-native birds. From common birds such as swans and ducks to lesser known species including the grey heron, a close relative of pelicans, coots and moorhens, as well as the migrating cormorant, which spends most of its days drying its wings in its iconic pose. But amongst the peaceful banks of the River Frome, an unlikely hunter lies in ambush. The elusive kingfisher. This striking bird does not often make its presence known. Dancing from perch to perch, it is usually only seen as a sudden flash of blue out of the corner of your eye. But with enough patience and a bit of luck, they can be spotted. Kingfishers are stunning creatures, although, as their name suggests, they are also expert hunters, making them a lethal threat for the aquatic life below the surface. This male is waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. The kingfisher hits the water at speeds of up to 25 miles per hour. The design of its beak is evolved in such a way that allows him to hit the water with maximum speed whilst creating minimum splash. With a few beats of its wings, the kingfisher flies clear of the water again with its unsuspecting prey in its beak. Although he's been successful this time, he must repeat this feat a few more times today, as kingfishers need to eat at least 60% of their body weight every day. And this is no easy task, as he must compete with other expert fishers in the area, namely the grey herons and cormorants. These magnificent birds have been a part of this city for centuries, but unfortunately they are under threat. The colourful kingfisher was once a common sight on our riverbanks, but it is now among 37 UK bird species in danger of extinction. Although, fortunately, through the actions of conservation societies, these spectacular little birds are slowly but surely making a return to the riverbanks of Bristol, and will hopefully continue to delight residents and visitors alike for many years to come. As another day draws to a close in Bristol, the city is arguably more awake than ever. The streets soon become filled with students who roam through the city until the early hours of the morning. As students keep flooding in, some of Bristol's inhabitants have no choice but to stick to the shadows. Foxes are one of England's largest predators. Thriving in cities, there are now around 16 foxes per square kilometre in Bristol. Foxes can thrive almost anywhere. Unlike many mammals, red fox males provide for their offspring. Whilst mum protects the cubs in their burrow, dad scouts the streets for food. The long night of foraging begins. Whilst the urban jungle can provide plenty of food, finding it can be easier said than done. Despite his hunger, he must stay vigilant, as danger looms around every corner. Being the top predator doesn't guarantee his safety. Confronted by a distant cousin, it's a firm reminder that he must stay concealed. Navigating through Bristol's network of roads, he remains wary of speeding cars, which kill 1 in 5 foxes. Perhaps sticking to the pavements is safer. Picking up the scent of a potential meal, he knows he is close. Too late. But the biggest competitor for a fox is another fox. Not only do these foxes outcompete him for food, their dense population allows diseases to spread quickly and could harm his family. He wisely avoids his rivals as both go their separate ways. Whilst his countryside counterparts hunt for their dinner, he must scavenge for his meal. The smell of food coming from this bin is just irresistible. Not sure if it's food or not, he does a quick taste test. No, it's not. This could be it. Urbanization has forced the fox to rely on our food waste to keep him from going hungry. This could be his long-awaited meal, and could feed his family for the night. But the city is also a dangerous place, so we can't hang around for too long. Maybe next time. As the sun rises over Bristol once again and shines through the bright green leaves, peregrines take flight and one of the city's greatest green expanses comes to life. Filled with woodland and wildflowers, the Downs are home to an array of biodiversity. Conservation efforts to ensure the preservation of this Eden are revealed. Park rangers Ben and Mandy are putting in the hours to make sure this hard work continues. And they have a little bit of help. Goats. These unlikely allies have become Bristol's greatest conservationists. With scrub overwhelming the area, its native species were in decline. But as the goats were slowly introduced, feeding on brambles and ivy, they now help to preserve the rare flowers. Mandy and Ben do a daily fence line check to make sure the goats haven't escaped and aren't eating the rare trees. With over 30 different kinds of rare plants growing here, it's considered to be one of England's top botanical sites. Stripping the bark off invading trees, they make space for endemic plants to grow. After their patrols, Ben and Mandy let the goats get back to what they do best: eat. Brought in from the Great Orme, they are well suited to navigating the high cliffs which surround the gorge. Without these goats, the Downs wouldn't be able to support the biodiversity it does. Their management helps conserve Bristol's endemic species, allowing them to thrive once again. The abundant biodiversity that lives in and around Bristol is truly unique. From the UK's largest mammal to the most elusive bird, our hairy conservationists, to the sly foxes that roam our streets, and the multitude of other species that also call Bristol home. These beautiful animals are a strong reminder that we must all do our part to protect Bristol's natural treasures and let it remain a hidden Eden.